Hello, BookTube. We are only 10 days away from one of the greatest BookTube events of them all, one of the must-attend BookTube events in the BookTube calendar. And I'm one of the co-hosts, but I haven't made an announcement video yet. I'm one of the last ones to do so, I think. And the event, of course, I'm talking about is Garbagaust, which is created by CriminOlly and is designed to get us all reading trash in August. We are all going to get trash together in August. And I will be making a number of videos on Garbagaust. I will be, as usual, overdoing it for this event. But I wanted to tell you, make sure you know that it's coming up. I'm sure that if you watch my channel, you watch Ollie's channel. But I wanted to tell you that it was coming up. This is Garbagaust 3D. And there are weekly prompts. I want to go over there's everything else in the world. Oh my God, there's everything connected with this event. I think there might even be merch. You'd have to go to Ollie's channel, go to his announcement video to get all the lowdown. But it's a full-fledged BookTube event. It has all the bells and whistles. So if you want to just read a garbage book in August, you are perfectly free to do that. If you want to, oh God, there we go. If you like your BookTube events to be far more full sense around, where you want to do all the bells and whistles, Ollie has taken care to make sure that all the bells and whistles are there. But there are prompts. Keep in mind, as with any BookTube event, you can just ignore the prompts. If you pull a garbage book out of your pile and read it in August, you've participated in Garbagaust, and we're happy to have you. But there are prompts for every week if you want to. So the first week is anything goes. And that is, there's garbage and there's garbage. This is anything at all. This is not any kind of stricture. So you can find something that is really beyond the pale. And don't you worry. The closer we get to Garbagaust, the more I will be making Jesuitical videos about what garbage is and what it isn't. And what we're talking about when we talk about it, etc., etc. I'll be happy to do that. But for now, week number 1 is anything goes. So your imagination is the limit. Then week number 2 is either category romance or men's adventure. Under the assumption here that those two things are usually equated as garbage in the minds of the broader reading public. Even fans of the genre, of which those two things are subgenres, tend to view those two things as trash. Romance readers, people who read lots and lots of romance, often look down on category romance. As Sarah at the Book Schnitter, who's also a co-host for Garbagaust, she and I have talked about this in videos a lot. Even fans of romance will tend to look down on category romances because they are your mothers, they're your Mills and Boon, they're your Harlequin Presents, they're formulaic, they're short, they can be shallow. It is possible. It is very possible to write trash in a category romance because the dedicated fans of category romance will read it anyway. And the same thing with men's adventure. Men's adventure is a subgenre of just action novels. But men's adventure novels are different from that. They are looked down on even by people who love action novels. I'm sure you know the type of thing I'm talking about. Mac Bolan, we talked about on this channel when I did Garbagaust in years past, where there's usually a single male main character. He's usually all but invincible. He's usually bulletproof. He's usually 10 feet tall. He's usually irresistible to the ladies and beds them all throughout the book, even when he's bleeding or on the run from 10,000 vicious assassins or whatnot, or thinks she might be an assassin. These things are still written. The Bob Lee Swagger books, the Reacher books, these are exactly what we're talking about. And they are the other part of this category for the second week, if you want to do that. And then week number 3 is sex and or violence. Or, as it was referred to in South Boston in the 1960s, marriage. So here's when the garbage book that you're talking about is concentrating on one of those two things. Some garbage books are just all violence, and a great many of them are all sex. So that'd be this week, the third week, if you want to deal with one of those or both of those. And then the fourth week, which is novelizations. There's a two-parter here too. It's novelizations just in general, under the assumption that novelizations can almost not help but be trash. The writer did not write the material. They did not think it up. They are not allowed to elaborate much on it. Usually the material has very little relationship or only a tangential relationship to the plastic medium that it is then turned into. The words are set in stone, mostly. Of course, you and I will both know, if you read anything like this, especially if you read, for instance, Star Trek, you'll know that there are exceptions to that rule. There are ways to write a novelization of a movie or a TV show well. They're very rare. Most novelizations are absolutely terrible because not only is the writer not free to create their own material, but they assume you know the material. So they're often very, very lazy or poor at describing it. That's one half of that fourth week. And the other would be a book that's been turned into a 70s or 80s miniseries. Again, under the assumption that 70s and 80s miniseries would almost certainly be made out of books that were trash to begin with. That's not always the case, of course. Some very famous miniseries, some very well-known miniseries at the time, are not trash at all. And neither are their source material. Alex Haley's Roots, be a very good example. Or Ernest K. Gahn's book, The Antagonist, which was made into a great miniseries called Masada. Or I, Claudius, for that matter. But here you'd be thinking about something like, for instance, John Jakes' Kent Family Chronicles, or Irwin Shaw's Rich Man, Poor Man, Beggar Man, Thief. Something like that maybe would probably fit for here. We can talk about more candidates the closer we get to this week, which is a long time from now. It's a whole month from now. But those are the broad outlines of Garbagaust. And there's, like I said, go to Olly's channel. I'll try to remember to find his description video and leave a link to it so that you can go and get all of the details, the rundown of all of the co-hosts, the rundown of all of the ancillary events. I don't quite remember off the top of my head if there really is merch. And I also don't remember if there is a dedicated Discord server, but there's lots of other stuff. It's a big, beloved event. I'm thrilled that it's right on the horizon. I save a lot of my trash reading for August. The only real trash reading that I do the rest of the year are the books that don't know they're trash. the new releases that are garbage, but they're garbage of a different kind than what we tend to read in Garbagaust. As I'll be getting to. I will do another Jesuitical category video soon about garbage. But the kind of, to put it in a nutshell, the kind of garbage that we usually talk about for Garbagaust is garbage where the author is in on it. Where the author is in on the joke. So not a really bad Turgenev short story, but rather a Jackie Collins novel where she's laughing all the way to the bank and knows perfectly well that she's not writing anything great. In my mind, that's the kind of trash that we tend to read. Stuff where the author has no illusions at all and isn't trying to force any on you. As opposed to, this is why in Garbagaust you will not see me being a brat and making videos about Jonathan Franzen, David Foster Wallace, John Updike. I won't be making videos about them because they weren't in on the joke. They didn't know. If I think they're trash, I would be a lot of you would disagree with me. Whereas number 13 of Able Team, we can all agree that's trash. So that's happy. I'm happy to talk about that. So I will be digging into Garbagaust 3D. I don't know exactly what will be happening with me and the prompts. I do not have a stellar record this summer with prompts for the events where I am a co-host. I tend to ignore the prompts. Again, it's totally a matter of preference. If you don't want prompts if you just want to indulge in garbage, but you don't want to care what week it is, go right ahead. Go right ahead and do that. And tell me all about it. Email me all about it, including pictures of the books. But I would like to think that I would stick to these categories for the month of August. I mean, I don't mean to be a troublemaker. So we'll see. We'll see. I would ordinarily have said I will certainly do that, except that I'm completely ignoring the rules for Rocket Summers. And I completely ignored the rules for June on the Range. So we'll see. We'll see what I do. I will be making many preliminary videos about garbage before Garbagaust, and then probably a video every day. So we'll have plenty of garbage talk coming. But anyway, I just want to let you know that it was coming. I'm sure you know already, but I wanted to make sure that I put my oar in the water for the event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Think about joining us, and I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.